give us an idea what it's like, what it's about, what is your take on it before we get started?
Well, you just said it. It's a softball, and it is the definition of a softball interview. It is weak as fuck. Very little, zero hard questions were asked. It was very little substance. It was very, I mean, I really hope that people stop, kissing Tucker Carlson's ass at this point. Like, I understand a lot of people thought he was cool because always left his job at Fox News and blah, 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 blah. He's not cool. This is not cool. This is access journalism at its finest. He had the opportunity to ask Donald Trump anything you wanted to ask him. You got him right there. You're one of very few people that are ever going to get Donald Trump in front of you for an interview like this. And you fucking, it's weak sauce bullshit. It is such he didn't ask him about Assange. He didn't, I mean, they're just, it's bad. It's bad. It's so weak.
Okay.
What is the media? Why do you think the media doesn't like you? What the fuck is that? What kind of question is that? Oh, terrible.
Yeah. So I guess maybe Trump called in a favor, and that's really
thanks
what
for joining
us.
Is.
But
thank you. Why are you at the Fox News debate tonight?
We'll stop and play.
Well, a lot of people have been asking me that, and many people said you shouldn't do them. But you see, the polls have come out, and I'm leading by 50 and 60 points. And, some of them are at 1 and 0 and 2. And I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be, and get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president? Should I be doing that? And a network that isn't particularly friendly to me, frankly. They were backing Ron DeSanctimonious like crazy, and now they've given up on him. I mean, it's a lost cause. It reminded me very much of 2016.
I love, I mean, taking away the politics, his style of personality is a style of personality I would typically like how he just talks
he's
about.
Entertaining.
Like
He is.
Yeah.
He's entertaining.
Yeah, I would typically like a personality
he makes me laugh.
I like how he calls out people nonchalantly as he's telling the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just calls them a particular
Ron
name or he'll point out.
Yeah.
Right. And I gotta say, I do love that name, Ron DeSanctimonious.
He's good at nicknames. I mean, you got to give him credit where it's due. But I also love the fact that he just said, should I waste my time going and getting harassed by people who shouldn't even be running for president? Well, what does that mean? Who should be running for president?
Right.
What the fuck does that mean? What are you're under numerous indictments. Should you be running for president? A lot of people would argue that you shouldn't be. So what the fuck does that mean, Trump? What does that mean? You know what I mean? I don't know. Just silly.
And of course, Tucker does not push back or ask him about that. But let's listen.
Here, can I just really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that the idea that he wouldn't go and debate, it is going to take the sting out of any attacks that he's going to launch on Biden for Biden not holding debates. So I think that might have been a mistake because the DNC is not holding debates. I think that would have been a really easy thing for him to go after them for and to go after Biden on. I still don't think Biden's going to be the nominee, but I think it would have been really easy for him to go after the DNC on the idea that they weren't holding primaries or debates. But now the fact that he refused to go to this debate, that's going to take a lot of that fight out. And it may eliminate that as a possible point that he can make in the election. Just saying.
I agree.
16, I went through the same stuff and had to fight them all the way. And then they became very friendly after I won, or just about when I was winning. But I just felt it would be more appropriate not to do the debate. I don't think it's right to do it. If you're leading by 50, 60, I have one problem leading by 70 points. And I'm saying, why am I doing it? And I'm going to have 8 people, 10 people, whoever made the debate. I don't know how many it is, but I'm going to have all these people screaming at me, shouting questions at me, all of which I love answering, I love doing, but it doesn't make sense to do them. So I've taken a pass, as you probably noticed.
Well, I did. I'm grateful that you did. It's interesting, though, because you spent a lot of your career in television.
Yeah.
You had a top show in television on NBC. But you don't feel the need now running for president to do television, obviously. Do you think television is declining?
Well, according to a poll that I guess we just saw, it just came out where it's down like 30, 35%. But I think they were referring to cable. I think cable's down because it's lost credibility. MSNBC, or as they say, MSDNC, is so bad.
This is what I mean. Like, he could have just said MSNBC, and then he throws that in. Love that part about him. Let's continue.
And it's so wrong what they write and what they do and what they say. It's, you know, it's fake news, as I said. I think I came up with that term. I hope I did, because it's a good one. It's not tough enough anymore. It's corrupt news. You know, really what you do is call it corrupt news, but somehow that doesn't play as nicely. But it is corrupt news. So you have MSNBC and you have CNN, who's absolutely doing no ratings at all. I mean, they're dead. But they're doing none because they don't have credibility. They really don't have credibility. Fox is way down, as you know. And the good old days are long ago. I will say this, it could come back, but they just don't have a lot of credibility, Tucker. You know that perhaps better than anybody. I think it was a terrible move getting rid of you. You were number one on television, and all of a sudden we're doing this interview, but we'll get bigger ratings using this crazy forum that you're using than probably the debate or competition.
That's right.
When you say there are people on,
yeah, and to that point, Misty, I don't know if you have the exact numbers. When I looked at it last night, when we were 40 minutes into the debate, they were already at 75 million views. Like 40 minutes into the debate, I don't even know. I mean, it was got to be well over 100 million views by now. The next day. And
well, everything he just said there is correct. Mainstream media is dying, corporate media is dying, cable in general, TV is dying. Everybody's moving to streaming, everybody's moving to I mean, Tucker's on Twitter, and you know, there's a bunch of people on Rumble, and I think that that's really where things are moving. So he's absolutely right about that. And he's right that he got more ratings than them. There's no question about it. And I think everybody was expecting that. Anybody who was not expecting Trump to get bigger ratings. And so in some respects, it might have been smart for him to avoid the debate, because then he does avoid getting asked tough questions or having his opponents be able to hammer him on certain things. He probably knew that Tucker was going to be a very friendly interviewer, and there was probably discussions about what would be talked about beforehand. It's probably why he agreed to it. But it is going to take sting out of any attacks he would be able to launch at the Democratic Party on the issue of debates. So, I mean, you just have to weigh the pros and cons of that, I guess, when you're making those decisions, for sure. I'm sure his lawyers are probably like, don't do it, dude. Don't go. Don't go on the debate stage, dude. Don't do it. Because he has no gift for subtlety. He just says things out loud that you're not supposed to say out loud. And he almost certainly would have incriminated himself on the debate.
Yeah, so they probably said, hey, you don't want to have tens of millions of witnesses of you incriminating yourself. Why you just not go?
Yeah.
Let's listen to a little more of this softball.
On stage who shouldn't be running for president. Who do you mean?
Well, I don't want to really use names, but it wouldn't matter too much. A guy like, I call him Ada Hutchinson. It's Asa, but I call him Ada.
Why do you call him Ada?
You know, I could tell you, but I don't want to get myself in a little trouble. But he's weak.
I bet it's American Disabilities Act.
I never understood the guy. Never knew him. He was the governor of Arkansas. Not a very popular guy. I don't know how but that state is such a great state. The people are so incredible in that state, and they love me and I love them. How does this guy get elected governor of Arkansas? But he's nasty always, and has been. A guy like Chris Christie, the guy left with a 8%, think of it, 8% approval rating in New Jersey. Now he's running for president, and he runs solely on the basis, oh, let's get Trump. He's like a savage maniac. He's like a lunatic. And that's all he talks about. His poll numbers are very, very low. He's about 2%.
What's he like? You know him well.
Oh, I've been friendly with him over the years, but I couldn't give him a job because I just never trusted him very much. I was just never.
Yeah, and if we recall, and I'll pause here. And if we recall, it was a whole thing with Jared Kushner because Chris Christie put Jared Kushner's father away in prison for some financial crimes. And so I'm recalling they were saying something about him getting a position, but then it ended up he didn't get it, and it was because Jared Kushner didn't kind of put the kibosh on it. Do you have the same recollection, Misty, of that event, or is there something I'm missing there?
No, I think that's. I remember I don't remember the specific details of it, but I do remember there being some behind the scenes stuff that.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, there were shenanigans, and I don't know the specifics of it, so I don't know who would it, and there probably wasn't anybody who was right or wrong. It was probably just a big clusterfuck of wrong. But yeah, it's the idea that Trump says he can't trust somebody, but you hired Bolton and Pompeo and Nikki Haley, and those are all people who not only are awful human beings and everybody knew they were, not like it was a secret that Trump got bamboozled. Oh, these are really great people. No, everybody knew they sucked. And then they've all since turned their backs on him. So obviously he doesn't have a very good judge of character.